I turned 15 and I realised I was pregnant, and I told my mum that I was no longer having periods, and I didn't know I was pregnant, but she told me that I'd spoilt myself. My dad was called immediately. He came and they both sent me to my room and they were shouting at each other, and before I knew it, I was in the car, and I'd never been in my father's car, and I remember it was a blue Humber Scepter, and I'm sat in the back looking at the trees and the clouds and wondering where I was going. And they took me somewhere in the West Midlands to a clinic, and I remember arriving in the clinic and there were lots of women. I remember the whole procedure, and this was a clinic where I was going to have an abortion. The thing I always talk about is the act of kindness from this whole experience of this abortion, because it was the first time someone had actually extended love to me. And it was in the form of a lady where after the procedure they make everyone sit on a grass verge, and I had my sort of clinic gown on, and she brought me a cup of tea. But it wasn't the tea that she handed me. It wasn't the fact that she handed me tea. It was the fact she reached out and touched my hair and stroked me in a very maternal way. And I think it doesn't matter how old you are, we all crave love. And I realised at that point I really was craving some love from another human. And I realised as well that maybe I wasn't as bad, because she didn't catch anything by touching me. And I was told all my life, and believed it, that if someone touched me, they would catch this evilness that I was containing. And when we got home, on the way home, my parents were really upset, saying, what are we going to do with her? This is such a problem. Nobody will marry her, because to get an arranged marriage, you have to be a virgin. And I wasn't a virgin, and I blamed myself.